like accepted it. He didn't like say anything, but it was like he was saying, okay, like, okay, Lord. And as soon as Jesus told him it's time, he immediately started like blinking out, like flashing out this light signal. Like it was like a light flashing from him, like I would say, like from the top of him, like the top of his planet, the top of Jupiter, was like a flashing bright light. And it was like a signal. And so this dream was really short. Like it was really short. But so he flashed out his signal, and as soon as he started flashing out his signal and this light, all the other planets like listened to Jupiter, and because he was the leader of the planets, and they all got into line. They all lined up. Just lined up in a row with Jupiter, and I saw it all happen, and then I woke up. But as soon as they all lined up, like, they were, moving, and they all lined up in a row with Jupiter. As soon as that happened, I knew that it was like I knew that Jesus was going to come back right then. And I woke up, and I was just like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. Like, that was so weird, but like, what was that? But I knew that it was from Jesus. Like, I just knew it was a dream from God. And I don't have those dreams. Like, I just have always felt like I believe. I don't need to see things. I don't need visions. I don't need dreams. That's just the kind of person that I am.
Remember, it's just picking up, bending over, picking up. And I look towards the window, and I seen the planets. I seen larger than life, just the planets just were all in a row, from the largest all the way down to the smallest. And they were so huge that I could actually see the gases, the stripes, and the gases moving on Jupiter. And I turned and I says, Pastor, look. And she came towards me, and she looked, and she's like, oh, we got to go get Michael. She says, we got to go get the guys. The guys, we shared an apartment, and one half of the apartment was the pastor's and her husband and their son, and my husband and I was on the other side. So our husbands were sleeping, and she says, we got to hurry and go get the guys. So we turned around and we start picking stuff up. I don't know what it was, but we were like picking stuff up as fast as we could. And I seen a light on the wall, and I seen these round lights just flashing like a beam of light on the wall. And I turned and I looked out the windows again, and I seen these two guys come in. They were on ropes, and they come flying in like that. And they had machine guns, and they shot the windows out as they came in. And I turned, and the pastor and we start running, and we got separated. And all of a sudden, I'm outside of the building, and I'm looking at the planets. Everybody could see these planets. They were just huge, and people were running, and I'm just looking at the planets, and there was chaos, and then as I looked, all these people are running one direction, and I'm looking to see what they're running from, and then all of a sudden actual people themselves were manifesting into demons. The tongue came out of this one guy, and it was just a huge long tongue, and then the mouth part came up over, and then they had claws, and they were coming, they were running, and people were just screaming and running. They were pulling their children. Some were crying and yelling for their husbands, and there was just so much chaos. And then I looked to the left, and I'm starting to run, and I seen these guys sitting on this wall, and I don't know why the Lord had me hear what they were saying, but I could hear what they were saying. And these guys were biblically interpreting why these planets were here and why they were in alignment like that. And I heard them and I went up to them and I says, "You're wrong." I says, "You're wrong." I says, "These planets are bowing down to the entrance of the coming of the Lord." And I turned and was going to start running, and then I woke up.
It's my dream or vision number 7. So I'm just going to read it. This one is a little different for me because it's really weird. Never really had a dream like this before. So if you guys have any input or thoughts on it or opinion, I would really appreciate it. But I really felt strong enough to share it. So here it goes. So again, I'm just going to read what I write, when I record it. So they seem to always occur prior to me waking up. The last thing or dream that wakes me up, this time it was about 3 planets moving out of their orbit or moving out of their places to align together or in a certain order to cause or create a change in the atmosphere between heaven and earth. And the 3 planets were different in size. I believe they were either Saturn or Jupiter, Venus, and maybe Pluto. That's kind of the idea or the feeling that I got that that's what they were. At first, as they move out of their long-held places, so wherever they are always at, they moved from that location. They moved toward each other in a parallel pattern, so kind of across, parallel movement. Pluto seemed to have traveled the farthest. Then once all in line with each other, again, still in a parallel position, the planets started rotating to move in a really fast rotating motion towards each other. And they were feeding off of each other, their pull or their gravity pulling from the other, so much so that they started to glow and cause like a cosmic light and a pull on each other. So it almost looked like celestial lighting. They just started to glow and were moving so fast. Like a cosmic light and pull each other. Then Jupiter was on top, or Saturn was on top, and Venus moved under and then was in second place, and then Pluto moved under Venus in third place. So now they were in a row, up and down, still pulling from each other in a great and massive energy, so much so it completely changed the atmosphere and it became thick and dense and heavy. It felt like it was, I felt like I was watching from some kind of a space station or something like that. But it was a massive event. There were other people there with me at this location as we watched this event unfold. With the planets, in a total, we were really in total awe. And someone who else was there, another woman, said, "What is happening? It's like the planets are aligning or falling into place to prepare for something, but what?" And this is what she was saying. And my response, as it dawned on me, or what I thought it could be, was the rapture. The planets, the atmosphere are preparing for a great event or a great undertaking, which we will be caught up to meet the Lord in the air. Glory to God, the ruler of the universe. So that was the dream. That was the dream or the vision.
Me and my mom were in a big airport, and it was a very vivid dream, but I forgot some of the little things that happened. But I remember there was a big airport, and I think we were the only ones. I remember seeing one guy, but that's it. And I don't remember if this happened when I was on the property of my home or outside the airport, but I remember going outside and I remember seeing planets in a line. This planet right here, I believed in my dream it was the moon, but it wasn't like the yellow moon that I was describing earlier. It was like a moon that looks like do you guys have solarium? Like, cause if you ever notice on YouTube videos, or if you have the app and you see the moon, it's like a grayish color, like a dark color. So that's how I saw it in my dream. And I think it was 7 planets, but I don't remember seeing rings around the planet, because I know one of the planets have rings around it. So I don't remember seeing that, but I remember seeing multiple planets, more than 4. I know that for sure. It was more than 4, and it was in a line diagonally like this. And I knew in my spirit that as long as these planets were in a line, the rapture was going to happen.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I have some very important things that I wanted to go over with you that I did not cover in my last video. I believe more things have came to light here recently. I feel like the Lord is pouring out understanding or revelation on me. You know, there's a chance that I could be wrong, but everything that I'm seeing, you know, we prophesy in part, we only know in part, and we see through a glass dimly. But I feel like, you know, the Lord is really cleaning the glass, or, you know, I don't know. There's just a lot of things coming together here I wanted to go over with you. Okay, first of all, you remember that I told you that I received the first words I ever received, the words of knowledge. It was, I believe, 15 years ago. I'd have to look at the time when my family put me in a mental institution for telling them everything I experienced, but that's how I know what time it was. But it was somewhere around 15 years ago. Okay, I received the planets are coming into alignment. All right, in April, we just had planets come into alignment: Jupiter, Venus, Mars, and Saturn. Okay, so that's just one thing that I always watch for, and that just happened in April. Okay, and what I really want to go over with you right now is the message I received about June and the dream of World War III draft. All right, I uploaded that on 2017, May 16th. All right, now it's best that you go watch my original video, because that's where I did the best job at articulating the message or sharing my thoughts of what it could mean. I said that I believed it could mean the beginning of either, you know, the beginning stages of war, which I stated, and I did a recap of June video of last June, which we saw. I went over all the things that happened in June that I believe, you know, showed that World War III did start in June. But I believe that that message really interprets itself. And I went over the other scenario, which I believed, which I still do believe. And I believe, you know, God can have double meaning sometimes, or I could have been looking at it the wrong way, which I think that's a high possibility, because let me go over it. All right, in this dream about June, I asked the Lord if there's anything he wanted me to share with his people. And a woman came to me and she said, I'm expecting prophecy infancy, and the month is based on June. Okay, so I had no idea what that meant. All I know for sure, 100%, this dream is from God. I know his voice, I know how he speaks to me, and I just know. So I received that, and I prayed and asked, what does that mean, Lord? And I stayed in prayer. What does prophecy infancy in the month is based on June mean? So he showed me, gave me a dream vision, a quick one, of a white rocking horse. Very clear, very vivid, white rocking horse. I believe that it was pointing to the white horse in Revelation when Jesus breaks the seals. Okay? And when he breaks the seals, we are already in heaven. Okay? We will not be here when Jesus opens the seals and the white horse rides. All right, so the message was, I'm expecting prophecy infancy, and the month is based on June. When I prayed on it, he showed me the white horse. And he also showed me a very vivid dream vision. And this is the only dream vision I've ever had where I was not myself. I was in someone else's body. I was a backpacker and I was backpacking across Australia. And a man with an Australian accent, that's why I believe I was in Australia, he said, I have a place for you to stay. And I was tricked into a FEMA-like prison camp. And they wouldn't let us out. And this is before, you know, this was back in 2017. I knew nothing about FEMA camps or anything, you know, quarantine camps, so they're calling them. They didn't even exist then, or I didn't know about them then. But so I received that. So I received the white horse, and I was a backpacker, backpacking across Australia. I was not myself, and I was tricked into a FEMA camp, prison camp, and we all knew, we all had the knowing and understanding we were being drafted for World War III. Okay? So if these two messages, the white horse, and I was somebody else, and we were being drafted into World War III, then that means we're not here. In some part of June or in sometime in May. I believe it could be May or June. You know, like I said, he wasn't specific about what time in June. So I'm calling this my highest rapture watch ever. This May and June.